freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your halfway episode for this week's Farmers Insurance Open Round 2, coming to a close right now. Joining me to break it all down, Greg DuCharme is here. Hello, Greg.
Rick, good evening. What a day we had out at Torrey Pines. My goodness, was this difficult. It's been a really interesting couple of days, and all of a sudden it seems like a major championship has broken out.
Not only a tale of two courses, which we always get with the North course and the South course, but a tale of two different days. An hour and a half wind delay here during the second round means that as the sun is setting over the Pacific Ocean, there are still plenty of golfers out on the course, including guys at the top of the leaderboard. And after a normal split between the two courses in the opening round, Greg, both courses as of right now are playing 3.5 shots over par, which is not only mayhem, it's not only chaos, it's not only carnage, but it also means that the guys that played the North course today in round 2 did not get the benefit of that like 2.5 shot gap that is normally seen between the two courses.
No, I mean, there were periods of time today where the North course was more difficult than the South course. And it really speaks to what makes the game of golf so difficult at the highest level. You have really firm greens that are really fast as well, like we normally get at Torrey Pines. The players can typically handle that, but when the wind starts blowing the way that it did today and gusting the way it did today, there were some gusts at 35 miles an hour, which on some golf courses you can handle, but the greens were too fast to handle that. And so you lose control of the golf ball. And when the ball's on some of these slopes, it can move. We saw that happen to Hideki Matsuyama, and that's ultimately why play was delayed today. But then you think about all the hard work you got to do just to get the ball in the fairway or on the green in regulation. And now you got to deal with a 3-foot putt. And guys were missing from 3 feet, 3.5 feet, 2 feet. Even some of our leaders. So it became extremely difficult just to simply get the ball in the hole. And at that point, it didn't really matter if it was a long golf course or not, because everybody was missing greens. Everybody was missing fairways. Everybody was missing short putts. It just became extremely difficult for all 36 of these holes.
Since the last time we spoke, there was a rash of WDs. The stomach bug, I don't know if it's a stomach bug, but the flu, some type of illness seems to be going through the tour right now. Will Zalatoris, Gary Woodland before the tournament started. And then between that moment and right now, Braden Thornberry, Nate Lashley, Hayden Buckley, Emiliano Grillo, and Max Homa all WDing from this event. So I don't know what it is, Greg. I don't know if there's a bug going around, if there's a bad play bug, a little bit of both, but we've seen a lot of guys remove themselves from this field.
Yeah, and it certainly paints a much clearer picture. As you know, we had our group chat going, and guys were withdrawing, and it was pretty crazy for a while, and it was hard to figure out why so many players were withdrawing. It makes a lot more sense today. You have a wind delay, and some guys that are way outside of the cut. I think it makes sense that they just decided, hey, I don't need to put my game through this. It's clear I don't have the answers to this test. I'm going to go home and study. That seemed to be the answer for many of them. I hope everybody who did deal with that stomach bug or is dealing with the stomach bug is feeling better soon, because I know from experience, as we all do, that's just not fun.
Going to try to get you updated on as much as possible here with nearly two full rounds in the books, but also want to highlight those that played well in the opening round. Let's start with Hideki Matsuyama, Greg. It was a 4 under 68 on the South course in the opening round, which was splendid. That is exactly what you would like to see. He was probably licking his chops last night, thinking that he was going to go to the much easier North course. And while he did end up beating the field average by just a half a stroke, a 75 in the second round is 3 over. As of right now, he currently sits in a tie for 28th.
Yes. So we'll start with yesterday's round. Some really good play out of Hideki, some really strong ball striking, especially with his irons. He was handling the rough well. He was scrambling well. He was putting well too. It had a nice mix of grind and aggressive play as well. So he was able to piece together a really solid round that he probably felt could have been a couple shots better. But all in all, you're right in position in this tournament with a 68 in the opening round, especially hitting it the way that you did. But then you come out of there and you go to the North Course where Ludvig Åberg shot 63 in the first round. And it's just as difficult, if not more difficult of a test. And all of a sudden you start seeing some missed putts, some short missed putts. Wedges are hard to hit, hard to find the green with wedges. You kind of lose the advantage of a shorter golf course because it's so difficult to control and flight your golf ball. But the really cool thing about Hideki's round and the really important thing to notice about this second round is that he finished with back-to-back birdies on 8 and 9. Which is huge for him because it gets him in the clubhouse under par, and that is still within touch. And, you know, there's a lot of players near the top of this leaderboard that don't have the experience that he does. And if Hideki Matsuyama can come out with an early tee time on Saturday and go shoot another, go shoot a round of 66, let's say he plays like he did in round one, shoots 6 under, he's at 7 under heading into Sunday, that could be, well within reach. And we know what he's been able to do on big time golf courses on Sunday. So I think those last 2 birdies, not only did they get him inside the cut line, I think they also got him right back in the tournament.
As of this moment, 41 golfers within 5 shots of the lead. So there is plenty of movement going on and will continue to go on. We've got the youth armada fully in effect for this week. Ludvig Åberg, of course, both the number 1 and number 2 ranked amateurs in the world, and Luke Clanton and Jackson Koivun, who we're going to talk about right now, Greg, because he shot that same 68 at the South Course, the same thing that Hideki Matsuyama did. He was not able to put together as good of a round as Hideki on the North Course in round number 2, but just 1 shot worse, a 76. He rallied for this 76 because he was birdie free until his third to last hole of the day, until 16 for him. He made 1 on 16, 1 on 18 in terms of the number of holes. It's actually 7 and 9 on the golf course to get this thing in at 76, but says a lot about his game, says a lot about what the future of our game looks like.
Yes, the future is bright. I mean, only 19 years old, and he went out on the South Course in round 1 and hit 16 of 18 greens. That's an extremely impressive performance. Now, when he got to the North Course in round 2, he only found 3 fairways, which is just, it makes for a long day when you're dealing with this wind and you don't have control. You don't have control of your golf ball. But once we came back from the wind delay, he's able to put those birdies on the card in clutch fashion. I mean, the putt he made on his 18th hole, the 9th hole, had a lot of curl to it, a lot of break. He poured it right in the middle with perfect pace. So really, really impressive stuff from Jackson Koivun, who clearly has a lot of game, and I'm glad we're going to get to see it this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more from him, not only this weekend, but moving forward. I'll tell you what, speaking of moving forward, I think it's a good time to reset here because I want to get to Ludvig. I want to get to some of these other names, and it doesn't make sense to do them on this side of the break. So Josh, let's hit the quick break, and then we'll cover everything else on the other side.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more.
It's Gareth Bale! Ronaldo! Wonderful goal!
On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
And we're back. And now, Greg, I can dive into a lot of this stuff a little bit deeper here. So Ludvig Åberg went out and shot a 63 in the opening round on the North Course. That was 9 under par. That was the first round lead. Well, guess what? He has given back 3 strokes thus far on the South Course. He's currently out there right now. He has 1.5 holes to play. He is currently tied for the lead at 6 under. So from 9 under to 6 under, this lead is getting closer to even par. Ludvig was dominant yesterday. Not so much today, but obviously conditions are going to play a large role in that.
Yes. Look, yesterday's round was a masterclass, especially with the driver. He drove it so well, and he did again today, by the way. But he played the par fives in 5 under yesterday. That's a really big deal. And he comes out today and he's 2 under on the par fives, and he has 1 left to go. So it's been really impressive. He's really taken care of the par fives, and even on the North course yesterday, some of the shorter par fours, he was able to get his ball around the green off the tee, leave himself some really short wedges in, and make some birdies that way. Now, here on the South course, we've seen some really good ball striking from him. We've seen some really big drives from him, some sloppy wedge shots, some pretty good approach shots too, but 2 nearly 3 3-putts during this round, and absolutely made a mess of number 14. Where he hit a huge tee shot. I mean, this must have been, I'll get you the exact numbers here on 14. He hit it 312 yards, had in the left side of the fairway with a back right hole location, the best angle you could possibly have from the fairway. And he leaves it around the front bunker. It's actually in the rough on the downslope. And then he chips that over the green.
Yeah.
And ends up making a double bogey, which is disappointing and really opened up this field to everybody, right? I mean, he's at 6 under now. That's tied for the lead. He's got a birdie putt on 17 of about 18 feet. But right now the lead is at 6 under par, and the cut is 1 over. It puts everybody at within 7 shots of the lead heading into the weekend. I know Ludvig's name really stands out when you look at this leaderboard. Perhaps we can talk about that when we get to the betting board. His name stands out clearly among the rest. But Ludvig has also had some struggles on the weekend last year of his own. So he's the man to beat right now because he's still hitting it so darn good. But how is Ludvig going to handle the pressure with a chance to win on the weekend? Because last year he let a few get away, especially on Sundays.
Yeah, and as you point out, the names around him are not prolific winners on the PGA Tour. The odds makers, and we'll get to this later, but as of right now, it's nearly a coin flip for Ludvig against the field if you're looking at our friends in Las Vegas. The man who shot a better round than Ludvig yesterday was Danny Walker. Danny Walker's 65 on the South course yesterday was a touch better in terms of strokes gained than Ludvig's 9 under at the North course. Danny followed that up with a 74 in the second round. He's at 5 under. I guess there is an outside chance he's tied for the lead or part of the leading conversation after 2 rounds because we've got Ludvig and Lanto still out on the golf course. Danny Walker, Greg, is making his 4th PGA Tour start. He is in this week on his qualification from last year's Korn Ferry Tour. He finished in that 2nd through 30th qualification bracket. That's how he is in this week. Certainly would be a big jump and boom for his PGA Tour career if he could post a top finish around here.
Yeah, I'd say so. He comes out of the University of Virginia and is relatively unknown. So I think that's it's not very important to him right now, but you're not familiar with him. He's played a couple seasons on the Korn Ferry Tour. I believe it was 3. Finally gets his PGA Tour card with some strong play late in the season last year. He finished with something like 5 straight top 25 finishes, which was really impressive. And he's rolled that into this week. Yesterday's round was an absolute masterclass. He hit all 18 greens at Torrey Pines South.
Yeah.
I think that's happened less than 20 times since 1980. I believe the number is 18. So really, really impressive stuff. He was 6th approaching the green. He was 1st in strokes gained putt in. It was a masterclass of ball striking. And then he comes out in round 2 and makes 7 bogeys on the North course. He makes 7 bogeys on the North course and still gets it with 74. He makes 5 birdies as well. So there's clearly some very strong upside with with Danny Walker here, and he's a player to watch heading forward. I mean, this event, when it gets this tough and pars become good, you can get some real Cinderella stories. You can, with some smart play, you can plot your way around and keep yourself in the mix. And while he didn't exactly do that today, I think there's a good chance he can do that over the weekend.
Quick update here, live update. Ludvig made par on 17, so he's going to go to the 18th. Lanto Griffin is currently playing 18 right now. We'll get to Lanto in a second. Let's talk about Luke Clanton, who just hit his approach on number 16. It looks like it's going to stay on the green. That is a par 3. Luke Clanton has had himself a day. So an opening 70, that was yesterday on the North course. That loses strokes to the field, or at least lost, I think, a half a stroke to the field. He got off to an unbelievably hot start in this second round. He birdied each of his first 2 holes. He birdied 5 and he birdied 7. He gave 1 back at 8, but birdied 9. So the immediate bounce back. The second 9 has not gone so well for him. Bogeys on 10, 11, and 14. He has just made a very solid par save on 15, and he had another par save earlier that is keeping him in this. We're getting an emotional Luke Clanton right now. He is fist pumping his way around the South Course of Torrey Pines, and he is trying to improve on that T2, which is his best finish on the PGA Tour.
Yes, he's got about 20 feet for birdie on 16 as well. So he finally hit a good shot in there, which he really needed, because while the front 9 was just extremely impressive, the back 9 has been a struggle for him. He's hit some loose shots. He's lost some shots out to the right, been scrambling around. He got very lucky at number 13 that his third shot stayed up on that false front, and still had to make a 10-footer for par there at 13. So the back 9 has been a stout test for Luke Clanton, but we're seeing the upside of this player, like we talked about with Jackson Koivun, right? This is the kind of player who has all the club head speed you could ask for. He hits it very solid with his irons, and he makes big putts, and it is this emotional charge where sometimes when guys are doing a lot of their work on the greens, like he is today, he's first in the field in strokes gained putt-in. He's gained over 5 strokes on the field putt-in. That's a hard thing to keep up with. But sometimes these young guys are emotionally charged up, and they're competitive, and they need to make it. They believe that they can, even though we look at the numbers and say they can't. It's not going to continue, and sometimes they can make it work. So it's exciting to watch. I think his short game needs a little work. That's been a weakness of his that he's been making up for with the putter alone. It's a hard thing to do over time, but over the course of 4 rounds, it's clear that he has the firepower to go make a bunch of birdies on a really difficult golf course that just doesn't yield many.
Ludvig at 6 under par. He is in the left-hand bunker off the tee at 18. Lanto Griffin just hit his third at approach after a layup into the 18th green. It looks like he has about 30 to 40 feet back up the hill for birdie, 2 putts for par, of course. Lanto Griffin, Greg, a name that we have not talked about in quite some time because he hasn't played a lot of PGA Tour golf. In fact, he won at Q School a couple of weeks ago, and he opened up with a bogey-free 66 around the North course. That is 6 under. His round at the South course today, obviously, with the conditions that we had, certainly more bogeys, 3 of them, 8, 12, and 17, but he has erased all of those with birdies at 11, 14, and 16. All things considered, that's about as clean as a scorecard as we are seeing today.
And it's really been a clean round to watch as well. I mean, it doesn't look like there's been 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts when you look at the round that he played. I mean, one bogey that he made at 8 was kind of a easy up and down, and take that with a grain of salt. Relatively easy considering the day. He didn't get it up and down. At 12, he 3-putted, missing a 4-foot putt, 4'9" putt, and he missed like a 2-footer somewhere along the way as well. I'm not sure where that was.
I saw that. It was like, I'll see if I can find it, but I want to say
it was like 2 feet 4 inches.
Yeah, it was bad.
And he's sitting here in a tie for the lead. The reason for that, Rick, is he is flushing it. He is absolutely flushing it. His iron play has been dialed in this second round. That's why he leads the field it leads the field for this round in strokes gained approach, because he's throwing darts. I mean, even the shot he hit into 16, it landed, and he ended up making a long putt, but it was right at the flag. And he ended up cashing in. You think about, he's hit multiple shots inside of 5 feet, approach shots. I think that number is 3. 5 shots inside of 15 feet, when it feels like that's just not possible. But this is Lanto Griffin's a guy that's played well here before. He's got a tied 7th here. He's got a tied 13th here. This is the kind of golf that a healthy Lanto Griffin really likes. Challenges the ball striking. You can plod your way around. You don't have to make a million birdies, but you got to hit really high quality golf shots. That's where Lanto Griffin always exceeded and excelled before he got hurt and started to struggle with his game a little bit. And, perhaps the win at Q School is a sign that the Lanto Griffin of old is back. And that's why you're seeing him perform well here on a golf course that suits his game.
I would love that. I would love if Lanto is back and in the mix more frequently. The short missed putt that Greg is referencing, 2 feet 9 inches. That was on number 6. That was for birdie. That was a par 5. He would go on to make par. He just hit a pretty decent birdie putt on 18. He's probably got about 3, maybe a touch more than 3 feet to tap that in and get in at 6 under par. So it looks like, Greg, either Lanto and Ludvig in some combination, one or both of them will be the leader going into the weekend.
Yes, perhaps Lanto at 6, although unfortunately we can't give that to him.
We can't give him that one. Yeah, I'm going to need to see that.
He missed another 4-footer for birdie during this round today as well. It's crazy.
Maybe I shouldn't have given him this. I kind of already gave him 6 under. Maybe I shouldn't have.
So he'll be at 5 or 6 under, hopefully 6. Ludvig could make birdie on 18 and go to 7. I don't think it's going to get beyond that. That leaves basically everybody who's inside the cut line in the mix. I would say anybody who's under par is still very much in the mix, which makes for a fascinating tournament. And if you're looking at this leaderboard saying, who are these guys? I mean, just wait and see. You got Sungjae Im is suddenly in a tie for 6th.
Oh my God. Where did he come from?
He's even par today. He shot 69 yesterday.
Even par, and has moved him up 23 spots on the leaderboard.
Yeah. So, this tournament is still wide open, and you can scroll way down. Like I said, I think Hideki is still in the mix. I think Jason Day, who shot 3 under today, is still very much in the mix. I think that might be the round of the day. Yeah, Jackson Suber, Chris Gotterup, and Jason Day shot 69. Those are the only rounds better than 70. They're actually the only rounds better than 71 right now. Luke Clanton could make a birdie, and William Mao, good for him. He's at even 1 under on the day. Nobody's 2 under.
It wasn't pretty, but Lanto Griffin made that putt. He snuck it in the side door.
All right. So terrifying. He's in at 6.
He is in at 6. Ludvig laid up, so there's a chance that he gets there. Gets to 7 by himself. He is currently the favorite to win this golf tournament. Josh, I don't know if we have these, but I know they're changing like crazy here. But Ludvig Åberg is the favorite. He is plus 150. So as I alluded to, almost a coin flip between he and the rest of the field. You mentioned Sungjae Im. That I have not even seen that name pop up all day. Yeah. He is second in the betting odds at 9-1. Lanto Griffin at 12, Luke Clanton at 20, Hideki Matsuyama at 22. Everybody else is 25-1 or longer. But Greg, as you mentioned, so +1 going to be the cut here. That is would be everybody within 7 shots. There are 41 golfers under par with it, which would be within 5, depending on what Ludvig does here. If there was ever a time to be willing to go kind of down the board and catch that guy who shoots the round of the day on Saturday, now feels like the time.
Yeah, and we have it right here in front of us. Jason Day at 40-1.
Wow.
He's tied with Hideki Matsuyama, who's up at 22. Also, I think a really strong number. But with Jason Day's pedigree around here, the way Jason Day is driving the golf ball, and I think he hit it pretty well in the opening round too. He just didn't make anything, but he's a great putter. So I really think there's a chance that a Jason Day comes back. Ludvig should win this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, he is the best player. He's in the best position. His game suits it. But man, it can get weird out there.
What do we have for Harris English?
25 or 30, I thought I saw. 30.
Yeah, 30. Jeez, that's a pretty good number too. 3 back of the lead. Plays well here. Had a great U.S. Open here. Loves hard golf courses.
Let me do this. You can either have 1 click of Ludvig, or you could have Sungjae at 9, Jason Day at 40, and Hideki at 22. What side are you taking?
Everybody's 3 back. I am going to take. I mean, do I stick with? I got Hideki early on Monday this week. We had a coin flip, Ludvig and Hideki.
That's right.
I narrowly took Hideki. It looked like that was a terrible call. He's only 5 back. He could easily pass Ludvig over the weekend. Is he going to win the tournament? I don't know. But I think, Rick, I'd have to take Ludvig. The way that he's driving the golf ball is so impressive. The way that he can handle these par 5s reminds me of the way Tiger played Torrey Pines. He's got to clean up this activity around the greens. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say those 3 putts and that lack of speed control today had more to do with the wind than his ability on the greens. So I think I would take Ludvig here. But boy, it's really close. 3 clicks.
I guess the thing that I'm thinking about is I don't want to take anybody between Ludvig and like Jason Day. So either Ludvig wins this running away. I don't see Lanto win. Like I wouldn't put money on Lanto to win, or Daniel Walker to win, or Chris Gotterup or Eric Cole or anything like that. Even Sungjae. It's either like Ludvig runs away with this, or if Ludvig comes back a little bit, Day is really interesting. Hideki's the Jason Day stuff. I could see him getting hot on the weekend for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. What is going on with Keegan Bradley as well? Keegan Bradley,
he struggled every time I saw. So
that's Aaron Baddeley.
3 over. He's playing 18 right now. He's even par for the event.
Oh man, yeah, he hit it really well on the front 9 and got nothing out of it. And the back 9 has been just he can't find a fairway, can't find a green. So yeah, I kind of thought Keegan was going to hang in there around 2 or 3 under, but it didn't happen.
Well, we are getting Ludvig's approach into 18. I don't think I can hold us that long because it's probably going to take like 15 minutes for this round for him to finish. And Clanton they're taking down the ropes for Clanton. So the resolution, did they blow the horn?
I don't know. Oh, I see on my shot tracker, Rick, play has been suspended.
Okay. Cause I just saw, wow. Ludvig just flew the green. He's in the back bunker.
He hit his 3rd in the back bunker?
He hit his 3rd. It bounced on the back of the green. It did not hold. He is in the back bunker with that back pin location. That's Keegan a tough up and down.
Too. That's a really tough up and down.
And now he has to decide whether he wants to do it tonight or tomorrow.
Aye. All right. Well, Lanto will be in a tie for the lead or solo lead.
I think he might be a solo leader.
He might be a solo leader. This thing's wide open, Rick.
The only reason I knew or I thought I saw Luke Clanton's caddy going like this, like, we'll wait till tomorrow. He was in the right rough. He's like, well, we're good. We're good. So I was like, I thought and it looked like it was getting pretty dark out there. Okay, well, this is wide open. Wow.
It's like a restart. It's really a restart tomorrow.
This is incredible. Yeah, Clanton's marking his ball. So they've obviously blown the horn. Guys have the opportunity to finish. They don't necessarily. Some guys are picking up. Some guys are marking their ball. Some are going to play out the rest of their hole. We will be back on Saturday finish this week, and we will see how this whole thing has played out. But it's going to be fun, Gregors.
I said over the weekend a couple times, and that is, of course, a Friday, Saturday weekend.
Yes. Yeah, they know what we mean. We can't change the verbiage that is just burned into our brains for this 1 week a year.
Yeah. So anyway, it's going to be fun to watch some weekend golf tomorrow on Friday. I can't wait.
I can't wait for the weekend on Friday. All right. That is Greg DuCharme. He's available at The Real GFD. Producer Josh does all the hard work behind the scenes. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This is The First Cut. We'll see you next time.